Hey, what's up, PhotoBeardSneakers? Welcome to another edition of Foto Friday. Last week we talked about moving into manual. This week I want to go really quickly into the exposure triangle. The exposure triangle, there's three elements to the exposure triangle. That is why it is a triangle. There's shutter speed, there is aperture, and there is ISO, which stands for the International Standards Organization. I think that's what it stands for. I googled it. That's what it says. Picture of an Nikon camera. I want us to get a general understanding of this triangle. Real quick, shutter speed. Shutter speed is simply how fast your shutter is going to open and close, which means how much light you're going to let into the lens, which determines the brightness of the photo that you're taking. So that means that if I'm trying to take a photo at nighttime and I'm not using, we haven't incorporated flash in our camera yet, and I'm trying to take a photo while it's a little bit darker, what I would do is I would slow down the shutter speed. You'll see shutter speed as a fraction, 1/100th, which means 1/100th of a second, and even 2 seconds to 30 seconds, to even maybe even a minute, where that thing is just open. Your shutter is open for a minute. I cannot hold my camera for a minute straight. I would suggest if you're doing something like that, a long shutter speed, you're going to want to use a tripod or have something to set it on, where you can click it, step back from it, let it do its thing. The other thing is the aperture. Aperture has what they call f-stops. Some of them, if you have a prime lens, some of them will start at one f-stop, and you can change that. Other lenses that zoom in and zoom out might change with the zoom. And then the better the glass, when you zoom in and zoom out, the f-stop can stay the same. That just determines how much is going to be closed or how much is going to be open. But think about aperture in reverse to what you would normally think. If it's closed, you're thinking it's going to be a smaller aperture. The actuality is, if it's closed, it's going to be a wider aperture. So it's going to be like f-stop 22, 16, something like that, depending on your lens. And the wider it gets, you're going to be down to the lower 2.8s, 1.8, 1.4 f-stop. When you have a f-stop that's really low, 1.8, and you've got your lens all the way open, it means that the thing that you're focusing on is going to be pretty sharp, and then everything behind it, that's how you get that blurry background that you see, portraits and things like that. And then say you have a group photo, or you have a landscape photo that you want to take, you want your f-stop to be pretty high, which means that you're going to bring this down, and that's probably going to be like a 16, like I said, or something like that. This will allow you to see everything in the photo. So that is aperture at f-stop. So we talked about shutter speed, we talked about aperture at f-stop. ISO. So those two things, f-stop and shutter speed, those two have to do with how much light is coming in. How much light is coming in determines how the picture is going to be with the f-stop in terms of blurry background. If you can see everything in the photo, all that good stuff. ISO has to do with the sensitivity to the light that's coming in. This is kind of hard to understand, for me at least, but how it works is you start off ISO with 100, and depending on your camera, I know my Canon T5 goes up to like, I think it's 6400, while my 70D can go up to like 30-something thousand, or I think you can even expand that. But really what that means is you want to try to keep your ISO, if you can, as low as possible. What happens when you bump your ISO up, because of it's dark, and you can't see the subject, and you want to get more light in, or you want it to be less sensitive to the light, what is going to happen is you're going to get a lot of noise. You're going to make it grainy in the photo. And again, I don't know if you remember, I talked about camera phones versus DSLR. You can get a lot of grain when you zoom in on your camera phone, or when you try to blow up your photo on your camera phone, or print it and make it a big photo, you'll probably see a lot of grain, a lot of noise, because there is no ISO setting. And so the more detail you look at the photo, the more noise you're gonna get. Well, with your digital camera, the more you're trying to pick up and make your camera less sensitive to light, the more grain you're gonna get, or the more noise, they call it, you're gonna get. So if you start at 100, you're not gonna have much noise. Although if it's dark outside, we're not factoring in the flash, and it's a dark area, you bump up your ISO because you want to see more of what's happening in the area, you're going to eventually get a lot of noise. So there is a equation which we'll talk about later, but I want you to just get a quick a gist of the exposure triangle. Sensitivity to light, and then how much light is coming in to your lens. That's really it. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because I would hate to start off somewhere really in depth in photography, and if you're like me, you're on this journey, and as you learn or as you go along, it's better to kind of pick things up as you go. Until tomorrow, Beard Saturday, I will see you guys. Photo, beards, and sneaker.